Hello, I know it's been a while since I have done a video, but I didn't want to come back on here until I could say that I had reached my first goal, which was to lose 50 pounds, and I have achieved that. I'm going to post my most recent weight. Um, I do not have a video of my starting weight. When I initially started keto, I weighed 234. I think I have a photo of my weight a few months before starting keto. Um, and if I have that, I'll put that up here. But I weighed more than 234 at that time. But when I started keto, I was at 234 and change. So I wanted to keep that as my start weight. And I can now say that I have lost actually I've lost 51 pounds as of this morning. But when I did my video, I was down 50 pounds. And the reason that I started posting videos was because I am a woman in my 50s. I am now post-menopause. When I started keto, I was in the middle of perimenopause, then I went through menopause, and now I'm post-menopause the whole time that I've been on keto. And that is when it really gets challenging to lose weight. And I want people out there to know that what we have been told, that once we get to this age, you're not going to be able to lose weight, it'll be too difficult, or if you're still overweight by the time you hit a certain age, you're going to be overweight for the rest of your life. That's wrong. That's wrong. And I have always had trouble losing weight. I have been from obese to morbidly obese, back and forth, since I was in my 20s. And I bought into that lie that I would not be able to lose weight. I never gave up. I kept trying, but every time I failed at something, that seemed to validate what I had heard, that it wouldn't be possible for me to lose weight. And that was the case until I found this way of eating. And I do have a video explaining why I decided to give keto a chance, because it had nothing to do with my appearance at that time. It had to do with, I was afraid for my health. And that's why I started keto. But I wanted to do just a breakdown of how I did this. I didn't start keto eating the way that I'm eating today. I went through different phases of keto because if you go online, I'm sure you've seen, a dozen ways to do it. So I just want to go through real quickly where I started and what I'm doing today. So when I first started keto, I am a sugar addict. Sugar is my weakness, and I am addicted to, I was eating processed food. I was eating takeout food all the time. I was eating sweets. Chocolate is really my weakness. I was eating chocolate almost every single day. And I hate to cook. So when I would go to the grocery store and buy a processed meat that was already cooked and breaded and had gravy in it, and all I had to do was put it in the oven and warm it up, if I served that with a can of veg and some bread to my family, I thought I was doing real good. Real good. I didn't really truly understand a whole lot about nutrition, and I was just eating total crap. It was highly processed, it was highly refined, and it was not good for my body, and my body was completely toxed out. So when I first started keto, I did what I'm going to call lazy and dirty keto. So in order for me to transition into keto and to be able to do keto and stick with it long enough to see if it was going to work for me, I had to do something that I would be willing to eat. So I did not worry about counting calories. I didn't even count carbohydrates. I got a food list off of some videos of what qualified as keto foods, And so I went to the grocery store, I bought those food items, and as long as something was close to 0 carbs, that was on my list of things that I could eat. So I was eating a lot of cheese, I was eating a lot of nuts, a lot of dairy, and I was also eating a lot of highly processed keto snack foods. I didn't count carbs, and in all honesty, if I had, my carbs probably would have been still high, but they were significantly lower than what I had been eating. In addition, I was now starting to throw in meats without the gravies, meats without the breading, fresh veg. So I was starting to slowly introduce real whole foods into my daily menu. But that's how I started. And in the very beginning, that's when I lost the most weight. But then I hit a plateau. I have hit several plateaus throughout this process. So what I ended up doing in the second phase is I started to get rid of the processed foods. I stopped eating the pork rinds with the French onion dip. I stopped buying the Atkins sweets that advertise 2 net carbs on the box, but if you flip it over and look on the back, it's 20 total carbs per treat. I started to get rid of that, but I'm still addicted to sugar, so I did a lot of keto baking at this time, and I was using a variety of nut flours, and I was experimenting around with cakes and cookies and all those things. And did I mention that I hate to cook? I may have mentioned that before. I hate to cook. Even so, in this phase, I was experimenting around with all those complicated keto recipes that had a lot of cheese and a lot of sour cream and cream cheese and all the things, just because my body was still craving the sugar. But little by little, I was starting to get a handle on those cravings, and I was able to resist because I had a substitute for what I was wanting. And inevitably, I hit another plateau. My weight slowed down significantly during this phase. However, again, I'm still not going back to that crap diet that I was eating before. I'm still not counting calories. I'm still not counting carbs. I was, calorie-wise, I know there were days that I was eating probably around 3,000 calories, but I'm still losing weight. So when I hit my next plateau, I started my third phase. I'm looking down at my notes here. So I decided to phase out the baked goods completely. I just wanted to get away from just anything that tasted sweet. So I phased that out, and I also simplified my meals. I was tired of doing all this cooking. I simplified my meals, like 5 ingredient meals for dinner. And then for my noon meal, I would usually eat, that's when I would have my breakfast food, you know, my bacon, my eggs, my sausage, that sort of thing. And I also transitioned over to just having coffee be my breakfast, coffee with just a little bit of heavy cream in it. And so, and this is when I also started counting carbs, but I was doing net carbs. So, and I was shooting for 50 net carbs. And that's where I stayed for a while. And again, my weight was still coming off, but it was coming off very, very slowly. I have never lost weight like this. My entire life, when I have tried a weight loss program, my weight will come off in these little chunks, and then I'll maintain for a minute. I might go up a little bit and then maintain, and then I'll lose another chunk if I'm consistent with what I'm doing. My best friend, she loses weight like this. I never have. So never once did I think that keto was not working for me because I wasn't having the experience of my fat melting off my body like I've heard a lot of people talk about with keto, because that's never been my experience. but I was going by how I was feeling, and I was feeling so much better. I was feeling fantastic. I had normalized my blood pressure. I was hypertensive when I started. I had normalized my blood sugars. So I was feeling great. So the fact that the weight was sort of dripping off one drop at a time, 1 pound at a time, every hard 1 pound at a time, that didn't matter to me because I felt so much better. And I was viewing this as a journey, fully experimental, trying to see. I had to relearn what my body wanted and needed and what worked for myself. So this is a process, an ongoing process. But that was my third phase. I was now finally counting carbs and calories. I didn't care how many calories I had eaten, but I was tracking them, and I was now shooting for 50 net carbs per day. Now I'm in the fourth phase of keto. I'm trying to eat as clean as I can. I'm primarily eating whole foods, and I am aiming for total carbs. My goal is always 20 total carbs for the day. I go over that pretty regularly. Some days I'm at 10 total carbs, other days I'm at 75 total carbs. But over the last month, because I'm tracking everything, I went through and I averaged everything together, and I'm actually averaging 57 total carbs per day, even though I'm aiming for 20. But that's okay. The weight is coming off. I've got past my stall, and now I'm losing weight again. So that's where I am right now, and I'm also tracking calories. I'm trying to see if it makes a difference if my carbs are a little higher, if my calories are a little lower, or if should I do a little lower carb with higher calorie. I'm playing around with that. I'm not sure really where that's going to fall out, but again, I'm tracking, I'm experimenting. But I just wanted to say that don't believe that you cannot work towards better health and weight loss if you are in your 50s, if you're middle-aged, if you're perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. You can do it. And I will post another video with it because I've already lost a little bit more weight since the weight that I just posted. So I'll do another video in a few days, and I'll post what I eat in a day, something like that, just to show you what I'm eating and how much I'm eating. And I'll show you the breakdown, the carbs and everything in that video. So thank you for watching, and just believe that you can do it. Good luck to you, and I will talk to you soon.